Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Krystal Woolley with us. Krystal is founder at Novelty HR. It's not her first business. She was also the owner slash designer at Crystal Clear Resume and other company. She has been in HR for a while now. So we're gonna talk about HR, AI stuff, HR, AI, and yeah, if humans will scale in this age of AI today. Podpire.com is presenting this podcast. If you want to start a podcast, monetize it through Google slash YouTube AdSense. If you want to monetize it through sponsors and lead generation, podcast is really good for that. So you can go to podpire.com, download their free Kindle ebook, and or follow our masterclass at a discounted rate. Krystal, welcome to the podcast. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Well, thanks for having me. As far most people right now, we're dealing with the Christmas holidays and just trying to prepare for that. So, family. I've got two small kids, and my oldest just got out of school a couple hours ago, so he's already ready for everything. And then my other one's still in school, so she'll be getting out not too long from now. As far as on my end, business is looking up a little bit right now, and so, which is a good thing and a bad thing in the world of human resources. So, rather it's employee conflict upticking post-election quite a bit, and then also just people are preparing for a different economic world come mid-January. So that's kind of a good thing.
So what did you observe in the HR market post-elections?
Primarily, I see CEOs morale, economic morale, really going up. There is the potential for future revenue and future hiring. I'm seeing a lot of employers starting to ramp up their hiring for 2025 and also ramp up their skill enhancements for 2025 and all across the board. And then in addition to that, kind of going into your wheelhouse, AI upticking, especially in the world of HR, just through recruiting practices, tools for employees to use, rather they're using, Grammarly, Jasper, or various other mechanisms for AI. Grok is a big one in my world, but we're going to see a big shift, I think, and especially as it pertains to employment law and just employee relations. A lot of companies are going back to the basics of just where employees tend to thrive maybe 15, 20 years ago, and trying to take out a lot of the fluff and the bullshit, and really get down to, okay, we need revenue, but we need talent. Let's do something that's not politically affiliated to boost both.
Interesting. And yeah, do you feel, well, first, who do you work with? Is it mid-sized companies or big corporations?
I primarily work with small employers and mid-sized companies. Generally, I try not to go above 500 employees unless there's just a specific project that they want to do. Generally, they hire me because they don't have a need for full-time HR, or they need somebody with a different approach compared to other HR professionals in my world. And that's kind of where I come in.
And how are you different than other HR firms out there?
Well, most HR firms, one, they tend to work only in the black and white. So you've got the letter of the law, you've got the spirit of the law, and they deal with compliance and a lot of just the strategy aspect that tends to be like, well, the law says this, so we can't do this, or best practices says this, so we can't do that. So where I differ in is using the human approach and looking at everything on a case by case basis and really digging into those gray areas, which helps employers thrive and employees get what they need. So rather, we're looking at employee relations and employees don't have the right tools to do their job. We look at what will work based off of the budget from the company goals perspective and what will work from the employee's perspective that would fit into the budget. So, hypothetically, let's say you're a project manager and you want to you don't have any sort of solution there. You know that you need to break things up, you need to put things into some sort of platform, but Excel spreadsheets, stuff like that, they're just too big for all of that for everybody to kind of get where they need to go. Well, there's a lot of information, confidential information. There's, whether it's through your ERP or if you're using Asana or various other different platforms to really kind of get in there. And I help them find the right tools that are going to do their job and then really connect them into the other platforms that they're using in order to boost those company goals. So with employee relations, you kind of see that change management really kind of that's necessary in order to implement those things. And you've got employees with bad attitudes. Oh, I'm just not going to do this. This is bullcrap. I just want to use my own system. And then just trying to get them on board to do what needs to be done from the company's perspective.
And you have like a video game branding. Like, why is that?
I'm a huge Super Mario fan. A lot of people are scratch golfers. I'm a button pusher and I love it. In addition to that, trying to get my kids involved into what I do and try to get them to understand why I do what I do. And they're huge into video games. So it really works out. Not to mention, you can really learn a lot from HR perspective from video games. And that's my thing.
Do you gamify your business?
Not yet. I don't really have a whole lot of need to just yet, but a lot of my training programs that I'll be doing on demand for 2025, I'm looking to gamify those.
How about like gamifying your productivity and giving yourself rewards when you accomplish X? Like, do you do some of that?
For me, because I'm really just a one-man show at the moment, it really doesn't do a whole lot for me. But for like team building exercises, whether it's virtual or in person, we do a lot of gamification. We do a lot of just do a lot of tournaments, whether it's using Mario Kart. I mean, the curse words fly in Mario Kart for people that I work with, and which is great. Let it fly, have fun, enjoy it, express yourself. Just don't get mad. It's one thing to curse for fun, but don't start cursing people out because you didn't like their strategy. So
That's funny. Yeah, like when I was a gamer, my brother would curse a lot. He would get mad a lot. I'm not sure if that's productive, like always punishing yourself or blaming others for your own poor performances. But I think like one of the best founders out there in this market are ex-gamers like myself that were quite prolific at video games like World of Warcraft or Call of Duty. I think it teaches us concentration, obsession, willpower, strategy, fast thinking, and acting. So I'm quite bullish on ex-gamers, very prolific gamers that are now founders. It's one of my best investment thesis so far. Have you seen such founders and CEOs that are using their gaming skills to improve their business?
Absolutely. Some of my clients are in the medical industry, and one question that we ask many doctors that are surgeons is, do you play video games in the interview process? Because studies show that surgeons that play video games are 30% more accurate in what they're doing than surgeons that don't play video games. So it's about the hand-eye coordination. If they're playing a global video game, it they're more tactical in their approach and communication. They're on a team environment, so they're able to work with others on a much more elaborate basis. So video games are huge if for the right positions. I mean, even in accounting, and I have a couple of accounting CEOs that are they play video games, and generally they're global. I mean, they get into it. They're using Discord to communicate with their teams. They're divide and conquer, and really on the leadership side, they're working with people that they wouldn't normally work with. So, for example, Russians and Ukrainians, which I know that's a very political out. Pardon my language. It's a huge conflict right now. So if you can get people from two war zones working together for the same goal, you're able to really complete missions in that aspect. So when it comes inside the workplace, you're able to get people that generally can't work together to actually work together.
Right.
There's
What bullshit do you see in the HR market right now? What are people willingly ignoring at their own cost?
well, you've got a lot of different factors going on right now. HR just has a bad reputation. People believe that human resources is not there to really protect them or help them and elevate them. It's only there for the employer. So you see that mentality where people they don't trust you. They don't want to come in. And so anything that you're trying to do that's for the company and that will also benefit the employees, employees aren't as susceptible to taking that information from HR because they feel like there's no benefit there for them, even if it's explained. You can also see CEOs not as susceptible into taking a lot of HR's advice, which is the reason calling it more of a novelty, which is the reason why I named my company NoveltyHR. A little sidetrack here. A CEO of a company had told me that, oh, HR is just a novelty. Anybody can do it. We don't need you. So, just tread softly in these waters here. And that made me angry. That honestly offended me a little bit. So I said, screw it.
Yeah, I don't think HR is a novelty. I think it's sort of peaking in this AI agent market. I think most CEOs and founders will prefer hiring an AI agent that performs 10 times better and faster than a human. What do you think if that happens in our market and if AI starts slashing 80% of jobs in the next 5 years or so?
I don't think AI is really going to slash the jobs. I think it's really going to create new jobs and different types of jobs, and everything is going to be you have to have the skills in AI in order to be successful. It doesn't matter what roles you're playing. I see a lot of AI assistants out there. I haven't tried a lot of them yet. There's still some that I would really love to work with, but I think I need to be a little bit bigger for that. But I like for example, in the marketing world, you can go and generate a lot of different content all at once, but you have to have the knowledge of how to use AI in order to do it. So it's not going to cut out marketing altogether, but it is going to require whoever is behind that seat to have knowledge of AI, so the way you can boost more and produce more content.
Yeah, in the knowledge world, I don't agree with that because there can be AIs that will recruit other AIs and that will prompt other AIs. That's not a complicated thing to do. But the only way that the theory that I named would not happen is if there's regulations, right? So I can definitely foresee a world in probably 5 years from now in which if you're a legally registered business in the US, you will be required to have at least five humans employees. What do you think about that?
I think it's great, and I think it's necessary, especially if we're required, to do more work with less. So we have to have that. Uh, One thing about AI is that you can train it to do what you need it to do, and provide it the information that you need it to have in order to boost your productivity. So
Well, in the
rather
state
it
of things right now, right? Because ChatGPT hasn't deployed AI agents for one, not blowing the world up. Two, there's probably talks behind the scenes with congressmen and regulators, right? But there could very much be an AI in which you just mentioned it, like go handle my marketing, right, and make me $1 million in a couple of days. Obviously, you'd have to pay that AI. That is the currency, but that could very much exist right now in the current state of things. It's just the UX right now. You have to prompt it. And also OpenAI does that because if the AI would go wild and would do some crazy shit with your business, they
Yep.
wouldn't want to bear that responsibility.
There AI is still learning and catching up to a lot of the information, just like garbage in, garbage out. So if you throw in garbage information into AI, it's going to give you garbage answers, whether
Yeah.
you could tell it or not. So you still have to train it, and you still have to provide it accurate information in order to move forward. What it's not going to do is replace the human emotion, which is, in a lot of things, it's great, but on the side of it, a lot of leadership, a lot of benefits, a lot of the things that we do provide for people is very emotionally driven, and how we generate performance is very emotionally driven. So it can't replace that emotion yet and be able to tell what type of emotion an individual is giving. So that's going to be I can't say it's going to be the downfall, but that's definitely going to be an obstacle. And I think in the next 5 years, it's going to be able to account for a lot of it and eliminate a lot of those issues that you're going to have.
Right. Yeah, it can detect emotions and replicate emotions and act as if, and that's enough to convince most humans, but it can't have real quote unquote emotions, right? Like biochemical emotions with serotonin, cortisol, and what we have as human genuine emotions for sure. Just coming back to what we talked about, the legislation that would be like, hey, you need to have 10 human employees in your business. I'm not sure if that's gonna work, right? Because entrepreneurs, they're always like rule breakers, and everyone are always trying to run their own lean businesses. I don't think the employeeship model will scale. Like you're paid this per hour. What I think will scale is most humans become either entrepreneurs or taken care of, like the UBI system eventually. That's far in the future, but I believe the future is all about entrepreneurship. I believe most humans will become entrepreneur, and the barriers to entries to become an entrepreneur are falling. So it's becoming easier and easier. Do you believe most people in the future will become freelancers slash entrepreneur in this AI age?
And in a sense, though, the way that we're recruiting for large companies all the way down to your, small mom and pop companies, they all want somebody with an entrepreneur mindset. However, the one thing that we have to remember is people are selling their services to us, whether they're W-2 or they're 1099 contractor, and they're telling us what their value is. So the difference is with a contractor, you get a 1099 and they only do what's in that scope of work. The whole other job duties as assigned doesn't apply to them. And when you have a W-2 employee, then you have that caveat, other duties as assigned, so that scope contract that you would generally have would be great. And I think that the more people are noticing that, you are going to see more and more of that. But then additionally to that, one thing a lot of employers in America probably won't agree with me with is that the at-will employment here in the United States, where you could just get let go for any reason, with or without cause, with or without notice, that's going to have to go onto that's going to have to be rehauled altogether at some point in time, especially as you become more and more of an entrepreneurial type company, because once somebody passes their probationary period, they should be let go for cause, and not just because somebody doesn't like them and they tick the wrong box at the wrong time at that moment. So you're going to have to see more contracts coming through that says, hey, look, if I'm here, then I have to do this, this, and this in order to get paid. But you can only let me go if I break the rules. So I'd love to see more of that coming on.
Yeah, especially in in the nature of that contract, right? Like if you agreed that this person would be an employee of yours and just let him go for no reasons, of course, me as an entrepreneur, I wouldn't agree to that contract in the first place. I'd be like, hey, you're a freelancer. I'll treat you as an equal, right? I'll hold you up to my standards, and if you don't perform, well, I'm just gonna let you go. Like if you're an entrepreneur, as a freelancer, I'm not recruiting humans nowadays. Since the last 2 years, most AIs are running my businesses, and it's amazing. The last question that I would have in that sphere, yeah, do you like, what would you foresee if most of us become entrepreneurs in the future and there's just like 10 AIs for one human? Do you believe in stuff like universal basic income, UBI, and the fact that some humans would be paid and everything in the market would be transparent, right? Like AI would run the show, and people would just receive checks on a monthly basis of like $2,000 and wouldn't do anything? Or do people actually need a purpose and a job? Do you believe that most people find significance and their identity in the job and need to actually work?
I'm a firm believer in working for what you and earning your keep. So I'm not a big believer in universal basic income. I think at that point in time, if COVID had proven anything from that standpoint, there's not going to be a whole lot of motivation for people to actually produce and put forth an effort if they're just getting a basic salary for doing nothing. And so I do believe that if your job has been eliminated, is no longer valid anymore, you need to learn a new skill and get a new job. So the last thing I want to see is people not having the ability to work and provide for their family in a way that they feel is necessary. So,
All right.
and then
Well,
also
thank
kind of
you.
take out the means of being able to gain more income with additional skills. So it doesn't completely eliminate it, but I mean, it does take a lot of that motivation out of it.
Right. Yeah, and I think generally speaking, humans are gritty and they adapt to many situations. I think AI will also break many frontiers, heal diseases that we couldn't heal, right? Some diseases that are quite debilitating and prevent you to work in some cases, physical, but also mental, right? A lot of people
Mhm.
have a lot of demons and need to fix these before they actually find a purpose and work. So I'm quite
Exactly.
bullish and positive on the future. Amongst like everything that is said out there, very positive. I don't think AI is gonna break the world in two. Where can we find out more about you, Krystal?
You can find me out on LinkedIn. And then I also have a website, NoveltyHR.com. And then you can follow me on X, uh, Facebook, all the main social media accounts. I'm also on Rumble if
Normal.
you're looking on there. Yep. So quite a I'm I'm on all your major channels, but if you're looking to find out who I am as a person, just look me up on LinkedIn, linkedin.com, Krystal-Woolley, and you'll be able to find me. I post a lot of content on there on a regular basis. I do post out a lot of articles. Uh, if you're interested in learning more about human resources and where, how to really boost productivity and boost your bottom line, that's really where I'm going to come. I mean, but I do it from a no bullshit standpoint. My shirt is actually probably anti-HR right here, but all shits matter. uh, it's at some point in time, all of it's going to matter. It's just a matter of your prioritizing the bullshit. So
There you go. So that was Krystal Woolley and